let's dive straight in. Section 7. The Night Grandpa Played Chess with a Ghost. Alright folks, sit tight. I've got a story that if you don't stick around for, Grandpa's ghost is gonna dropkick your soul off the board. So it all starts with my grandpa, back when he was younger than I am now, which, let's be real, I don't even age because I'm a steak, living all alone in his cozy little cabin in the woods. And I don't mean cute Bambi woods. Nah, this was the kind of dark forest even darkness didn't want to mess with. So Grandpa, like he always did, was about to play a game of chess with himself. Yup, the man played chess solo. I know, wild. But that night, he wasn't alone. As he was moving his pieces around and mumbling stuff like, should I sacrifice my pawn for this queen? Ugh, literally arguing with himself. Suddenly, creak, the door groans open. At midnight, in the middle of a cursed forest, nobody's throwing parties. Amazon didn't deliver. What the heck? The door slowly swings open, and this misty, icy, floaty thing comes drifting in. No legs. Kinda looked like a tiny cloud dressed up as a ghost for Halloween. Except it was a ghost, and not the kind that goes boo and pieces out. This one, he wanted to play chess. Grandpa, who was slightly braver than he looked, just stared at him like he was swatting a fly and went, you wanna play too? Black or white? The ghost didn't answer, just floated to the other side of the table, and with an invisible hand, moved the white pawn. Yup, ghost knew the rules. Don't worry. At first it felt like a spooky episode of Scooby-Doo. But then things got weird. The ghost was good, like Chess Club Captain Good. Grandpa finally said, were you like a grandmaster when you were alive or something? And the ghost just nodded. Not like, yeah, I was. More like, I still am. Grandpa cracked up, said, well dang, if I gotta play chess with a ghost, better be a master. Not some baby demon just slamming bishops yelling checkmate. Now here's the trippy part. When the sun came up, the ghost vanished. But the chessboard? Still mid-game. And on a random yellowed note that no one had seen before, it read, nice move, but the game's not over. Grandpa kept that note for years. We still have it. Smells like burnt wood and a hint of I dare you. And after that night, whenever someone asked him, aren't you scared living alone? He'd say, nah, I've got a roommate. He's just invisible sometimes. Section 6. The mummy said, nope, I'm still alive. Alright kids, first things first. If you ever go to a museum and you catch a mummy looking at you, either you've watched way too much Netflix or that mummy is still low-key mad about being dead. Now listen to this one, because it 100% belongs in the Are You Freaking Kidding Me folder. Our story takes place in Egypt. And no, not touristy Egypt with camel selfies and 5-star resorts. We're talking ancient Egypt. Pyramids, curses, sun gods, all that good old nightmare fuel. So there was this pharaoh named something like Nachman or Nakma. Honestly, the name sounded like a sneeze. Anyway, he died, and they did the classic ancient Egyptian thing. Mummify him, stuff him in a golden coffin, bury him under a sand mountain and say, cool, that's done. Fast forward centuries. The world's modern now. People follow Instagram instead of scrolls. And then, boom, a bunch of archaeologists show up like, let's crack this bad boy open. And folks, that's when stuff got wild. They opened the sarcophagus, expecting a dried up raisin corpse even flies would ghost. But no, this mummy wasn't dry. It was moist, like halfway between beef jerky and a leftover rotisserie chicken. You could tell, just by looking, this body still had some activity. Kind of like when you find that sketchy birthday cake slice in the fridge 5 days later, and someone still dares to eat it. But wait, it gets weirder. A few months later, in some nerdy lab, a scientist, probably running on 3 Red Bulls, goes, yo, let's 3D print this mummy's vocal cords and see what it sounded like. Common sense would scream no, but these guys said heck yes. A week later, after wires, engineering, and way too many sound filters, they hit play. And guys, the sound was, no joke, just one long, ancient Egyptian groan. Exactly like when you wake up and realize your charger's still not plugged in. Nobody knows what he meant. Some say it was, I'm still alive. Others think he was whining, why'd you drag me out? And someone else guessed it was more like, water please. Whatever it was, the whole thing was creepy cool AF. I mean, imagine still having enough throat power after 3,000 years to say, dude, I was sleeping. They ended up calling the project The Mummy Speaks, and now it's one of those random facts you drop at parties, like, yeah, science can do anything, but maybe it shouldn't. Section 5. One time a ship got lost in the sky. Alright folks, this one's straight out of a wait what the heck did I just hear kind of night. Picture this, a full-on old school ship with sails, rigging, the whole pirate package, decides, you know what? Ocean's overrated. Let's cruise the freaking sky. Nope, not a typo. Not a fever dream. A real ship, just floating up like it had places to be on cloud 9. So let's rewind. This happened back in the 19th century. You know, back when GPS was just a crazy dream, and some folks legit believe the Earth sat on a turtle. A ship called the Rosalie. Yeah, even the name sounds like a pop singer. Was sailing from Europe to Cuba. Everything's chill. Weather? Great. Crew? Happy. Sea? Peaceful. Then, one morning, another ship spots the Rosalie, just sitting still in the middle of the ocean. No movement, no SOS, no smoke signals, not even a flailing sailor yelling, "Help!" So naturally, the second ship rolls up to check it out. And this is where stuff gets super weird. Nobody was on board. No signs of struggle. No damage. No pirate raid. The food was still on the table. The coffee was warm, yes, warm. And the whole ship still in perfect condition. But no people. Nada. Like the crew had vanished Thane style. Or the cops raided a party and everyone dipped out the window. Now here's the creepy cherry on top. One witness claimed, and yeah, I'm kind of side-eyeing this guy, but he swore he saw the ship lift off the water. Like straight up. No sails. No wind. Just up. Into the sky. And then, poof, gone. Look, I'm not saying I believe it 100%, but think about it. A perfectly intact ship. No one inside. Food untouched. Coffee hot. And some rando says it flew away? Either this is one wild paranormal event, or someone really needed Wi-Fi and tried to connect with space satellites. There were theories. Aliens? Maybe. A magical ocean portal? Sure, why not? Sleepwalking crew that all walked off deck? The coffee was still hot, bro. Come on. Eventually, the ship got towed back to port. But to this day, no one knows what happened to the crew. It's like the sky swallowed them up. Or maybe they're still up there, chilling on a cloud, playing poker with aliens with huge eyeballs. Section 4. When a painting burned down a house? No, I'm not joking. Alright y'all, be honest. Have you ever been scared of a painting? No, I'm not talking about your kids' stick figures that look like intergalactic cockroaches. I mean a real painting of a crying kid just staring into your soul. The painting's name? The Crying Boy? Sounds innocent, right? But this thing? It didn't give off poor baby vibes. It gave I know what you did last supper energy. So here's what went down. Back in 1980s England, people started hanging this portrait in their homes. Why? Who knows? Maybe it was on sale. Maybe they thought, my toddler screams all day. Let's balance it out with a sad ghost kid on the wall. Whatever the reason, these things were everywhere. And then the fire started. Yup. One by one, houses started burning down. And in every single case, the firefighters would say something like, yeah, so everything's gone. Except for this painting. It's just sitting there. Not a scratch on it. For real. Sofas? Charred. Walls? Blackened. Even the neighbor's cat took off. But that creepy little sobbing kid? Still hanging there like, oh, I'm just getting started. People freaked out. One dude said, I bought this painting. And 2 days later my toaster exploded. Another said, I tried to take it off the wall. And the window smacked me in the face. Soon, newspapers were plastered with headlines like, Devil Painting Destroys Family Home. Now, some smarty-pants scientists came in and were like, guys, chill. The painting's laminated with fire-resistant coating. That's why it survives. Okay, but why this one? Why not that nice dandelion in the wind painting? Why is this emo little pyro baby always surviving like he's immune to arson? Eventually, people had enough. They said, that's it. We're burning all these cursed paintings. And get this. The Sun newspaper started a campaign where people could literally bring in their crying boy portraits to be burned in a big, public bonfire. And yeah, a bunch of them were torched, like, officially, in an event. But between you and me, I'm not convinced. Cause if a painting is really cursed, do you really think a little lighter fluid and a match is gonna stop him? He's out there, watching, crying, probably still mad you didn't hang him straight. Section 3. The ghost that just wanted tea at 3 a.m. Okay, listen, 3 a.m. is that weird hour when your brain's stuck between I'm asleep and why do we even exist? Or in my case, if I'm a steak, why do I have thoughts? But for one sweet little family in Yorkshire, England, 3 a.m. didn't mean existential dread. It meant, get this, someone was making tea in the kitchen. Except, no one was in the kitchen. So here's the deal. A young couple rents this old house. Real estate agent says it has character. Translation? It's creaky, drafty, and it sounds like someone's doing opera rehearsals in the basement every night. Night 1, 3 a.m., the wife wakes up. She hears a kettle boiling. Not the phone. Not a text alert. A legit tea kettle whistling. She goes downstairs. No one's there, but steam's rising from the kettle. The tea maker is on. There's even a cup sitting out with a dang Earl Grey bag already inside it. No human in sight. Not even a sleepy fly. At first, they figure the husband was sleepwalking, but then it happens again and again. 3 nights in a row. Exactly 3 a.m. same tea. 2 sugars. No milk. Like clockwork. At that point, even the husband's like, okay, this ain't me. I'm more of a coffee guy anyway. So one night, they set up a camera in the kitchen. Next day, they check the footage, and boom. There's a faint shadow drifting past the doorway, heads to the kettle, stands there. Then steam starts rising. And guess what? Nobody touches a thing. Now here's the funniest part. This ghost? He's chill, doesn't scream, doesn't throw plates. He just wants his nightly cup of tea. And apparently, no milk thanks. Later, the neighbors tell them, oh yeah, old man who used to live there, loved tea. Swore he'd never miss his 3 a.m. cuppa, even after death. Well, turns out he wasn't kidding. So instead of calling a priest or burning sage, the couple did the most British thing ever. They started setting out a special mug just for him. Every night at 3 a.m., they'd leave a hot cup on the table. And guess what? No more weird noises. No more kettle whistling. Just one polite ghost, enjoying his tea in peace. Moral of the story? Not all ghosts want to scare the crap out of you. Some just want a quiet little sip of comfort in the afterlife. Section 2. Don't ring the doorbell, cause someone on the other side might answer. Alright bestie, picture this. It's a rainy Friday night, kinda spooky, but nothing you can't handle. A regular old family in a quiet suburb somewhere in the US, just chillin' on the couch, watching a show. And then, ding dong, yup, the doorbell. Time? 2:47 a.m. bro. Who the heck is ringing doorbells at 2:47 in the freaking morning? Ain't no cat outside. No delivery. This ain't Amazon Prime. Paranormal Edition. Dad, looking half asleep and holding a lukewarm glass of milk, walks over, checks the people. Nothing. Like zero. No person. No shadow. Not even a flyer from the local Chinese spot. Just rain and pure no. He shrugs it off, sits back down like, probably a prank. But before the man can even finish that sentence, ding dong! Now the whole fam is freaking out. Mom's like, what if it's a burglar? Little brother's whispering, what if it's a ghost? And big sister? Already under the blanket like it's a force field. Not saying a word, Dad gets up again, this time with a flashlight and the kind of fake courage only a dad can summon. Swings the door open. Still nothing. Now this is where it gets juicy. Starting the very next night, same thing happens. 2:47 a.m. sharp. Doorbell rings. No one there. Even the video doorbell captures, nada. Just spooky vibes and cold air. Then one night, the son, who's got a thing for danger, apparently, decides to press the bell himself just to see what happens. He walks up, reaches for the button, and bam, the door opens. By itself, nobody there, but way down the hallway, a whisper, you finally came. Kid jumps back, slams the door, locks it, books it upstairs, and refuses to sleep without a nightlight ever again. Later, they dig into the house's history and find out it used to belong to an old woman who passed away there. And according to neighbors, she used to tell visitors, if the bell rings, just come in. I probably can't get to the door. Help. Guess she's still waiting for someone to walk in. So yeah, the family? They straight up removed the entire doorbell. They said, if you want to talk to us, knock on the window. Even if you're a ghost, at least put in the effort. Section 1. Brains, Zambia, and a party that went really wrong. Okay fam, this is one of those stories that starts all fun and innocent and ends with teeth. Literal teeth. The setting? Zambia. Beautiful country, gorgeous nature, kind people, and apparently one super creepy mystery that no one's fully figured out. It all started at a birthday party. A young dude, we'll call him Joshua, was turning 21. So he throws a bash. Big crowd, family, friends, neighbors, even that one aunt who only shows up for free food. You know the one. The party's popping. Music's loud, food stacked, drinks are flowing. And then, one guest, who, to this day, no one really remembers inviting, shows up with a weird dish. They're like, this is a traditional recipe. You all have to try it. Now what's in it? No clue. But it looked like something between a stew and green slime. Someone asked, what's in it? Another person jokes, I think it's brains. Everyone laughs. Except, they probably shouldn't have. Fast forward a couple hours. Some of the guests start acting strange, like slow walking, mouth slightly open, dead-eyed kind of strange. Then someone in the living room screams, they're looking for brains. Yup, the party just went full on The Walking Dead, African edition. People start flipping out. One guy grabs the fridge door like a riot shield. Another swinging a broom like he's in zombie dodgeball. From that moment on, the infected guests had a nickname, Zambias, because they were in Zambia and acting like zombies. Branding, baby. Police? Nowhere. Doctors? Nope. Wi-Fi? Of course not. So no one could even post a send help selfie. Just pure chaos and some very confused partygoers. Later on, they found out the mystery dish might have contained a parasite that messes with your brain. Whether it was an honest mistake or someone trying to prank the whole party, let's just say things escalated. But here's the real kicker. Why did the people who ate it actually start acting like zombies? Why were they obsessed with brains? And why does one of them still show up every night at 9 p.m., sniffing around that same house like, fresh thoughts? Yeah, no thanks. I'm out. Moral of the story? If someone says, hey, this is a traditional dish, try it. Maybe first ask, are there brains in this? Like actual brains? Cause I'm not trying to turn into a midnight snack.